Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is February 4th. I'm sorry for missing yesterday's episode. There was just too much and I ran out of time, so I'm sorry about that. But today's episode is going to cover the market action over the weekend and the absolute insanity that happened with that. We're going to talk about RPIP 64 going to vote, new POAP, Word Liberty's offer that we're getting some word about from other sources that might have been offered to Rocket Pool. And then we're going to be talking about node set and gas limit increases and a lot more. So it's actually a jam-packed episode. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Okay, so we're going to start here with price action talk. And I feel like nowadays, whenever we talk about price action talk, it's always for bad reasons, almost ever never for good reasons. And today is one of those days where there were a lot of bad reasons. So over the weekend, late into last week, Donald Trump started saying that he was going to start tariffs on imports and against Canada and Mexico, which are of course long-standing trade partners. In fact, the trade deal between those countries and the US was actually set by Donald Trump in 2018. Now Donald is not happy about that trade policy, so he threatened tariffs, and the market was closed. The traditional stock markets were closed when this was happening, so the crypto markets completely shut the bed, as they say. It was horrible. Like this here, ETH was above 3,200, and then it started dropping, and the drop got worse and worse. And as you can see here, it dropped all the way down to 2,125 on Binance. That's where the wick hit the bottom. However, pretty much right away, it started bouncing back really quickly. And within an hour, it was back at 2,500, and that was like a really really fast recovery. Like that bounce was really quick. So some people actually caught that bounce, but not many did. And yeah, it was really brutal in crypto markets. So there was a lot of talk about it on Twitter. Of course, it was one of the biggest, most talked about events in a very long time. People started comparing it to the Three Arrows collapse, like the Luna collapse, also FTX collapse. A whole lot of people were talking about it in terms of the COVID dump in March of 2020. That's what I feel it felt like. It was just like this sentiment, just getting worse and worse and worse, and more selling happening, and then it just capitulated. It just completely crashed. I couldn't believe what I was seeing with just how quickly the prices were going down. It was that fast. So here, the Wolf of Wall Street says that $2 billion were liquidated in 24 hours. That's a record. That's more than the COVID dump, more than the FTX collapse. It's epic. So this was at that time, basically when the collapse had happened. So it was a really really big collapse. So when we say COVID dump, the COVID dump actually fell more by a percentage. And ETH was down, I think, 40 or 50% that day. However, in terms of dollar amounts, the crash was much smaller. It wasn't this big. This was something else entirely. ETH dropping basically $1,000 in the space of a few hours was just unimaginable, really. And then people started talking about the positives here. So Anti-Prosynthesis was saying ETH is the trade of the century now. This is literally March 2020 on repeat. Bossy here said that he got 11% surplus on his cow swap buying ETH. That's because the markets were imbalanced, so he got a really good rate compared to what people were getting elsewhere, which is absolutely awesome to see. Now, Anthony Sassano had a take. He says, for those who weren't around, this feels kind of like the COVID dump. And then Ben says, nothing will ever compare to the COVID dump. It actually felt like the world was ending and crypto might literally go to zero in the process. And Sasan says, for us seasoned crypto veteran, it doesn't feel like that. For everyone who came into crypto after 2022, it 100% feels like that now. So it's just a matter of sentiment. And yeah, people just talking about how that dump happened so fast as well. But this one was literally in the space of a few hours. It just was abominable. It was horrible to experience. Then Merlin said this is the biggest bear trap of the cycle. They did it in 2017, 2021, and now in 2025. Every major bull market has a final bear trap before sending it. You're either getting shaken out or positioned for the biggest move yet. It's your choice. So what do you want to do? So this is like the classic, Wall Street sentiment chart where it shows, different stages of the psychology of the market. And normally like they have a big bear trap before the final blow off top and euphoria, and the bear trap is an idea that basically you have a bearish sentiment and you think that crypto prices are going to go down, so then you start to see prices going down, so you think they're going to go down a lot more, so you sell with the idea that you might buy back later, or you're just capitulating at that point, and then the prices go up. Like, so, it's a very, this idea that this is like kind of played by smarter investors who sell, and then you sell into that weakness and then they buy it all up. And we're actually going to talk about that in a few minutes about that buying it all up. But yeah. And here Andrew Kang says buying liquidation cascades like these are one of the 5 times a year you shove and buy everything hand over fist. It's a gift. And then we're talking about like the ETH bounce as well, which we're going to come back and have a look at that in a minute. And then Ben here actually he's the co-founder and CEO of Bybit, which is a major exchange. And he says that the actual amount of liquidations in this move were way more than just $2 billion. He says, I'm afraid that today the real total liquidation is not more than $2 billion. My estimation it should be at least $8 to $10 billion. He says, for your information, Bybit 24-hour liquidation alone was $2.1 billion. As you can see the below screenshot, Bybit 24-hour liquidations recorded on CoinGlass were around $333 million. However, this is not all of the liquidations. We have API limitations on how much feeds are pushed out per second. From my observation, other exchanges also practice the same limit liquidation data. Moving forward, Bybit will start to push all liquidation data. We believe in transparency. So what's happened here is that people, were long. They opened their long positions, maybe a few days or weeks ago, whenever they wanted, and they, might have set, what they thought were conservative price targets, thinking that ETH wasn't going to hit those prices, and like for example, they set like 2,200, for example, and what would happen then is, as the price went down to that level, their crypto would be sold, and that was it. They were done. Especially if they're going like leverage long. The interesting thing that happened here as well, I think, is that as the price went down, people started shorting crypto, and they were shorting, with big size bags, and the bounce back was so violent and so quickly. It happened so quickly that they got stopped as well. So just like the classic liquidation days, the bulls get liquidated and the bears get liquidated. Everybody gets liquidated. Here Blunt says this bounce seemingly turning into a full-blown V reversal. Total 3 completely reclaimed the breakdown and looks like a big fuck off clean ABC. Very hard to not be bullish here. And then and then the next day on the Monday, what happens is that Donald Trump calls the president of Mexico and Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada and make arrangements with both those countries to hold off on the tariffs for at least 30 days, if not longer than that. So that just tells you, like, just the kind of games that are being played here. And because of the fact that it was happening on the weekend for crypto, everything just went down really fast, really hard. And for your TradFi assets, it just wasn't that at all. Like, I think stock markets went down like 2%. And then to cap it all off, yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, we get this message from Eric Trump who says, in my opinion, it's a great time to add ETH. You can thank me later. Eric Trump, of course, is the son of Donald Trump. Yeah, that should tell you everything. He later edited the post to remove the text, you can thank me later. So it just says, in my opinion, it's a great time to add ETH. But yeah, that's the level where we reached. So this has 87,000 likes and 10 million views. Let's actually go back and have a look at the charts and see what they show us. So here it is the ETH chart. So as you actually go onto the daily view, you can see here that the daily candle for ETH actually closed green. That should just tell you everything about what it looked like then. The price crashed so much. The opening price was right there, 28.69 on the day, and then the closing price was 28.79. So it went up $10, but in the middle, it went down. No, the amplitude of this whole candle was 27.7%. So from the top of this candle to the bottom of this candle, the price moved 27.7%, 28% move in this one candle. So ETH, like I said, look, bounced back, but actually, like, the stronger bounce back was from something like Bitcoin. Like if you look at Bitcoin, and you can't even really tell that it was that much of a crash, like that's just the way it looks. It just performed more strongly. So ETH BTC, of course, got hit really hard, and it broke like lows on this cycle. In fact, the ratio went down to 0.02337, which is like ridiculously low. And right now it's sitting at around 0.028. So that's what we're looking at right now. And then, of course, we want to talk about RPL. RPL got hit really badly, and it still hasn't recovered in the same way. So, just a week ago, RPL was at around $12, and yesterday on the lows it went down to $5.07. Well, on Sunday night, like it was the new candle, right? So that's when it started. So it went down to $5.07. Since then, it bounced back up to around the high $6.73. Yeah, around $6.70, $6.73, somewhere around there. But of course, it hasn't shown that green candle yet. So RPL is showing a lot of weakness. So RPL hit new lows of the cycle. RPL hit new lows since the protocol mainnet launch. So in summer of 2022, RPL went down to $7.50. So of course, we've gone down below that point. The ratio went down to 0.0023, I think, or maybe 0.0021. So it went down really far badly. It just got brutalized basically. So this was a really, really bad day in alts. The only tokens that seem to have survived in any way are Bitcoin. Solana did well. It actually increased in its ratio against ETH, but Bitcoin was the main one that held up. Everything else bled. So yeah, it was a horrible, horrible day, horrible weekend. We're not out of it completely yet, but hopefully, with this Eric Trump tweet and all this other stuff, hopefully, we can start moving forwards, and good things will start happening for crypto again. So yesterday, actually, just showing the Ethereum strength. Yesterday we actually got this ETH flows. So ETH had positive flows of $83.6 million, which is a modest day. It's not like anything to write home about or anything. But when you compare that to BTC's day on the ETFs, you'll see that BTC's total outflows were 234 million negative. So ETH, infinitely outperformed BTC there by, well, not really infinitely, but like by a few $100 million there, like nearly $350 million, $300 million or so. So BTC having outflow days yesterday, ETH having inflow days. I think that's a really strong indicator for potentially the market pattern shifting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing ETH outperforming BTC from here. Hopefully, I don't want to see new lows on ETH BTC from now. And then here, ETH as well on the ETFs. It had its biggest day of volume ever on the ETFs, and this was volume of $1.5 billion in a day, which far exceeds any other previous day of volume. So the closest that we've come before between them is like about 1.1 or 1.2 billion. So this goes up from there by about 30% higher than any previous day. So yeah, there we are. Okay, some Rocket Pool news, and we are going to start with this new POAP, and this is called a history of Rocket Pool POAP. And Shifrin put this POAP out, but with the Harold face, and it's actually really sad because on January of 2023, we were celebrating all-time highs for USD price, and on February 2023, we were celebrating 0.03 on the ratio, which was all-time high that day. Then we had Atlas Party, where the ratio came down a little bit. After that, we had horrible price action, into August of last year. And then yesterday, it's it's just really bad. So there's a POAP, $5. What you have to do to get this POAP here, Shifrin says, direct your Screaming Room post to this thread today. It's POAP time. Write a message, any message, a fun story, a heartwarming tale, just your favorite expletive to receive a POAP. do not check this post for grammar or you're disqualified. So people just saying how they feel bad. This is the saddest POAP of all time. Rocket Pool's always teaching me something like why DAOs don't work or what it means to be a bag holder. And I don't want to be a part of history anymore. And then Chakaru says, happy to be part of this history. It's been so much fun. Best Discord in crypto. Definitely looking at the positives. I was trying to look at the positives as well, saying I made so many friends along the way, like actual friends, people who I meet up with in real life and talk to every day and call on the phone and stuff, like actual friends. Yum Cookie says, at least we've got a POAP. Yeah, so there's a POAP and a whole lot of people sent the message for the POAP. So let me actually see how many people have claimed it so far. We have, let me see, so this is what the POAP looks like. Let me read the description to you all. This is my POAP. This is my POAP gallery. So you can see all the POAPs that I've gotten here. That's 337 POAPs now. So I'm definitely a POAP collector. I don't know why this isn't loading. There it is. Okay, so here the description says it's been a turbulent week for crypto, with RPL and other altcoins continuing to struggle as the token price hovers near $5. While the market remains uncertain, Rocket Pool has an exciting upgrades on the way, such as Saturn on the horizon. Until then, the price action will be a bumpy ride. Community members within the Rocket Pool Discord that share their struggles receive a POAP. And the artist for this, of course, is Shifrin. So far, 38 people have received this POAP, and I'm sure there will be many more collecting it as well. So, yeah, it's been pretty bad, guys. It's been a really bad time. Let's move on to some actual news now, and we have a new vote that is taking place, and this is on Snapshot, but it's to get on-chain voting set up. So the Snapshots actually had some rebranding work done. I don't know if it's just the Rocket Pool front end that has rebranding work done, but it's actually looking really nice right now. So here we have this RPIP 64 vote that is live on chain. You guys need to go vote on this because we still are not at quorum, and this was created a few days ago. So here this is a vote for on-chain voting. This is the thing that Hululo is doing with those POAPs, with the funding of the votes, and getting the quorum and vote initialization done. So it says RPIP 64 sets initial quorum values ahead of the protocol's DAO's first on-chain vote. So the PDAO asked the Guardian to change two protocol settings. One is proposal quorum equals 15%, and two, proposal veto quorum equals 20%. So outcome if negative. So if the negative outcome, their values will remain the same. And the rationale is the standard quorum parameters mirrors the snapshot quorum in function and should therefore be set to the same 15% value. The veto quorum is set higher to prevent governance capture, yet still low enough to be reachable with previously observed vote participation rates. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that, putting that together. If you have a look at the results here, actually let me just change the view, or you might not be able to see it. Yeah, okay, you can see it. So so far the votes in favor of this have been 9,000 or so, and that they are 100% in favor. Votes against 0, and abstain is 0. It used to be that you could see all the votes quite easily. Now you have to like press this button. So I voted in favor of it, Valdorf voted in favor of it, Hululo voted in favor of it, Langers, Schifrin, Vaca, like a whole bunch of the bigger node operators and voting delegates voted in favor of this. Like I said, 100% of people have voted in favor of this. If you have not voted yet, so I can see Patches has not voted. I can see that a whole bunch of other big voters have not voted yet. So get voting, approve this, let's get it through, and then we can start playing some online voting games. Okay, next we're going to talk about World Liberty Financial. This is Donald Trump's DeFi platform that he's made, that he's obviously like has got his name attached to it, but I think it's his kids and actually like the World Liberty team who are running everything. Anyway, there's a scoop here from Blockworks, and they're talking about what kind of deals they're making behind the scenes. So Yano here from Blockworks says, we've got a scoop. World Liberty Financial is approaching teams with an offer and buy at least $10 million of our unlaunched World Liberty Financial tokens with a 10% fee, and they'll buy the same amount of your token. So it sounds like a trust the swap. So basically, like this actually happens quite regularly with crypto protocols where they enter partnerships and do something called token swap. So they each give the other party, like, some of their tokens, just as a way of saying, hey, we're aligned, we are together. This does sound really sus. But basically what happens is this. First, let's use Rocket Pool example. So the World Liberty Financial will say to Rocket Pool, hey, we want you to buy $10 million worth of our token, the World Liberty Financial token. And then what we will do is we will take that $10 million that you give us in USDC, and we will go to the market and we will buy, RPL or rETH or whatever we ask them to buy with that money. So then we end up with World Liberty Financial tokens, and they end up with, rETH or RPL or whatever we ask them to buy. So that is actually really, really interesting. Like, it's not that you're just paying them money for them to go buy your token, you're actually getting their tokens in return. Now, are their tokens going to be worth anything? Who knows? With the beginning, they're going to be non-transferable, and then I think after 6 months there'll be a vote to make them transferable. They're currently in the second stage of their pre-round open public sale round, which is only open for large investors. So what I'm thinking here is that Rocket Pool actually probably got a similar deal, a similar question from World Liberty Financial. When Jasper and Langers and Grant met with them, I think the conversation was probably, hey, we'd love to mint our ETH. This is just me speculating, by the way. We'd love to mint our ETH. However, we want you guys to buy the World Liberty Financial token. Now, the problem is that the IMC, obviously, their budget works on a month by month basis. They don't leave anything over, really. There's very little left over for the IMC. We pay all our incentives. For the GMC, we have a little bit of money, but with the token price the way it is, I think it's like a few $100,000, nowhere near $10 million. The PDAO, has about 50 or 60,000 RPL. That is just a few $100,000 now as well. So nowhere near that 10 million amount. The closest we can get to that 10 million amount is the team wallet, which has over 1 million RPL in there. That is worth just over $5 or $6 million now. So even if we literally scrape together all that money that we have, we wouldn't be able to reach the point where we could buy these World Liberty Financial tokens. Now, that is pretty unfortunate, that's the situation. Of course, if the community or people in the community wanted to go ahead with this, I'm absolutely 100% certain that will be extremely divisive, and in fact, it probably there'd be too much of a community backlash for this to actually go through. But that's kind of what I think. Now we're getting details from third-party sources about what happened with the meeting with Jasper and Langers and Grant with the Trump team. Okay, and some other bad news. So with ETH performing badly and people trying to sell it, the price going down so much, people were also selling their rETH, and rETH peg got hit again. It's now below 1%. Well, at this point it was below 1% discount. Sorry, above 1% discount. So it was a 1.029% discount, which of course is not nice. Let's see if I can find the latest numbers on what that discount is. But sadly, I think what it's worked out for is people who were exit arbing. They thought that maybe they wouldn't be able to exit arb. Here the latest numbers are showing it says 1.043% discount. So if you are exit arbing, if you're closing down your validators with the idea to arb that amount, you'll actually be getting about 0.2 ETH per validator to remove your validators right now. So that is many months worth of rewards. If you are interested in doing that, look at the previous episodes where I've talked about Rocket Arb, or ask someone in support and they will point you in the right direction. Okay, so people are leaving to Arb, and here we've got another story of another person leaving. This is Alliator saying, so guys, 3 years and a month after I started my first mini pool on all nodes, I have just sent the order to exit my current 20 mini pools. It's been quite a trip. I've enjoyed the Rocket Pool community enormously, learned a lot, lost a lot of money on RPL like everyone else, and finally decided to reallocate my ETH and do some tax harvesting with my losses. So he says, I might come back to staking on Rocket Pool after Saturn 1 and 2. Haven't decided yet. We'll continue lurking here now and then. All the best. So this kind of message has actually been coming through a lot recently. We've talked about it a couple of times last week as well. And it looks like that people have kind of been on the fence about wanting to leave because of the RPL price coming down so much, because ETH not moving, all that negative sentiment and sentimentality, and now they're seeing that, hey, like for leaving you can get a little bonus of 0.2 ETH. So we're just like, yeah, I'll take it. Like I'll leave, I'll exit ARB, and I'll take that bonus, and with that I'll be able to get back to being liquid, and doing something with the RPL, potentially, like selling it or buying something else, or maybe just holding it, and then like whatever they want to do with the ETH as well. So it's really disappointing to see. Sadly, the incentives have lined up in a really bad way right now, where because we have this discount, we're actually incentivizing the protocol to unwind its node operators, to take advantage of this discount, and put some money in their pocket. And with the prices being down so badly for RPL, and ETH not performing so well compared to others, I think people are just like, let me just take the money and stop staking. So it's a real shame, and sadly, the tide to turn it around will be with money. Like you need money to spend. So you need to spend money to make money, sadly, and we don't have that much. Okay, so in some other news, so this is just some staking news. So last week we had World Liberty Financial, who we just talked about earlier. They had minted a whole lot of stETH, from Lido, and they're actually swapping their ETH back to the stETH back to ETH after just about a week. So here you can see some of the transactions, like 19,345. 19,423 rETH sold, and stETH sold, and they received 19,345 ETH in return for that. People were actually quite laughing. Like, in the week they made 10 stETH. 10 only like 10 days in stETH. What's the point? And they received 23 stETH in rewards. People were laughing at them, kind of comparing them to Neso, wondering if they were worse or Neso were worse with their minting. Jasper replied by saying, laughing my ass off, ooh, and then get trumped. And yeah, it looks like what's happening is they are trying to reallocate some of their funding, and potentially trying to get into. So I wouldn't be surprised if they choose a different staking partner, like the deal that we were just talking about. It might be that someone is taking them up on that, and then they are trying to do an exclusive deal, for a bigger amount. So for example, deposit 50 million into World Liberty Financial, and then you get 50 million. They'll mint 50 million worth of your token or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team out there that's doing that, but they would say that, hey, we want exclusive staking for this. Maybe we'll see them staking with someone else in a few days' time. I don't know what's going to come up with that. And then here, that's when their sale went through. It was going through as a limit order, so it was every few minutes there was like a small transaction of like a few ETH here and there. But after a little while, all 19,000 was swapped into ETH, which is actually pretty cool about the liquidity of Lido. That was like actually a very, very small hit in terms of slippage. So congrats on that, guys. Okay, moving on to some staking news now, and we some more staking news even. And here's an update from NodeSet, and this is a new release of HyperDrive. This is version 1.1.2, and this updates all the clients to their latest releases and adds Bash auto completion support developed with the help of Ben V. And this is a high priority update for anyone that hasn't already updated Geth manually to 1.14.13 if you use Geth. And here's a summary of the major highlights. So there's a rETH issue, and they believe they have a fix in place and will release it in the future version. Updates clients, all of them. The gas limit, they've increased from 30 million to 36 million. Prism comes with quick support. The command line interface now supports Bash auto completion. To use it, enter part of a command such as HyperDrive Constellation. Press tab twice to auto complete the available subcommands. This will not work if you're using Bash alias for HyperDrive for non-standard binaries. So yeah, that's your version 2 update if you are a NodeSet node operator. Okay, we've got some more staking news here, kind of Ethereum news, kind of staking news. This is the gas limit increase has now gone through. Anthony Sassano here shared a screenshot saying over 50% of the network is now signaling to increase the gas limit. Weed, idiot, fam, Ethereum is scaling. So this is a modest scaling increase. It's gone up by 10%. No, sorry, 20% from 30 million to 36 million. You might notice a change in gas fees already, a reduction of about 20% until people kind of fill the lanes again of the highway. But that's actually pretty cool that this went through. The whole process took 2 months, I think, maybe a little bit more than that, but it worked out really nicely. Now, if we have a look, the the chart here isn't loading for me properly, but I saw people snapshotting at 59%, so that's really really cool to see. Grow the Pie here says congratulations guys, we did it. Ethereum is scaling, it's layer one. I'll be back tomorrow with some thoughts and charts. In the meantime, here's a Dune dashboard, so let's click on the Dune limit and it just shows you about how people started signaling the gas and the gas target and how it's all looked. So you can play around with that. Here's the Dune dashboard. Let's have a look at it. So you can see here that the Ethereum gas target, that's what they're saying, and the numbers lined up here really nicely. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Hopefully we get some more data around that soon. I like looking at that kind of data. And then people in the Rocket Pool community were kind of talking about this as well. Of course, being node operators, we are the ones who will have to store that extra data. Now, a bunch of us have 2 terabyte hard drives, and there is a question whether or not those are going to get full. So definitely keep an eye on the limit of your hard drives and see just how much data is available for you. Sometimes if you are getting close, if you resync your execution client, it might be able to view up a few hundred gigabytes for you to do that. But if you're not sure, just pop into Rocket Pool support and someone will help you with that. And then here today, we finally got enough people moved over that gas is now 36 million. So the way it works is every time there's a block proposal, the network checks what the person is using as their gas limit. If the gas limit is higher than the limit that was there the previous block, then Ethereum will actually move it up a little bit. And then if it's below the previous block, then it'll move it down by a bit less. So what happens is, at like 51%, the moving up will happen twice as fast as moving down. So very soon you'll hit 36 million gas target. So, that's happened now. So that's where we were. So, Mad Matt here was the one to share the screenshot, so that's cool for them. And just like always with Ethereum, I just absolutely love this about Ethereum. We have this huge community coordination effect to mobilize and work on this for a few months. And right away, Trent, is saying finally over 50%, 30 million to 36 million is 20% block space capacity increase. But then already what Trent is doing is looking at what's next. So he says, Pectra upgrade, that's coming in March. We'll get more blobs. That's moving from 3 blobs to 6 blobs, which is awesome, 100% increase. And then we're going to get super powered EOAs, that's wallets with better functionality. So hopefully you won't have to assign approval transactions for tokens. You can just press one button and it will do the approval and the actual transaction in one go, which is awesome. Validation improvements as well. And then this is really interesting. So the history expiry is coming in May. Now that's going to be interesting to see if we will be able to get through to May with those 2 terabyte hard drives, because after that, we'll be able to remove a lot of the history from our validators, from our nodes, and it'll become a lot lighter. So we should be good going forward after that. And then we've got the Fusaka upgrade in Q3, which will bring PADAS with more blobs and EVM revamp, EOF, and more information. So this is really cool. With Ethereum, we just are keeping the eyes on what's next. One thing that was really interesting that came about this was a few people talked about how blob increases might be able to, we might be able to change them so they can happen in a similar way, where people can signal that they want to have more blobs. And if enough people on the network signal that they want more blobs, then the Ethereum will start producing more blobs. That is an interesting idea, and even Vitalik was a person who mentioned that he would support something like that. So that's going to be really really interesting to see. Okay, next we've got a client update here, and this is Lodestar. This is release 1.26.0. So it says, good day, Lodestar users. We released 1.26.0 to Lodestar. We recommend all users upgrade when convenient to benefit some optimizations and fixes. If you previously experienced compile errors, then this is for you. And we've removed the Mekong network config, as this release no longer compatible with previous specifications used in the Mekong testnet. This release is compatible with Petra DevNet 6 for those using Lodestar for Petra development purposes. So there's a whole changelog there as well of what they've done and all the different contributors they've had to it. So that's really, really awesome to see, guys. Good job, Lodestar. Okay, next we're going to talk about ultrasound money, and the story of the day is that Ethereum is no longer ultrasound money compared to the merge. Oh, not quite, like maybe another 3 or 4 hours worth of non-ultrasoundness. So as you can see right now, gas is about 3 GUI, and the ultrasound barrier is around 24 GUI. That should be going up, I think, because of the size increase of the blocks. But yeah, 23 GUI, 24 GUI. Actually, no, that doesn't change that. Sorry, that's my bad. I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, it depends on the number of validators on the network. So the more validators there are, the higher that number goes. So yeah, right now we are a 24 GUI ultrasound. So we are, and gas is 3 GUI. So a lot of the supply chain is happening. So since the merge, Ethereum has been ultrasound money, technically speaking. It actually peaked right around the Denkun hard fork, which was about a year ago, pretty much. And that's when 455,000 ETH had been burned. Since that time, we've had 455,000 ETH more get minted than has been burned. Sorry, a lot more than that, and then some of it got burned as well. So overall, we are now pretty much back at zero. So the APY, the percentage increase over 2 years for ETH is 0.000%. Now, you might be saying, hey, like ETH is inflationary again. What's going on with that? That's not what we were told. We were told ETH will be deflationary forever. When you compare that to BTC, there's hardly any inflation happening for ETH compared to BTC. Like at that point, is in that same time is up by 1.43%. Now you might be like, hey, whack, that's just cherry picking data. Like if you have a look at the previous 30 days, you'll see that ETH has been inflationary at a rate of around 0.453% in 30 days. BTC in that same time has been around 0.8% inflationary in that time. So even on the shorter time scales where the burn hasn't happened really much at all, ETH is still less inflationary than BTC. You can see by the gradient of the charts there that ETH is inflating less. So yeah, if anyone says, oh, ETH is inflationary now, you can turn back and say to them that like it may be inflationary, but then there'll be periods when it won't be inflationary, and we're still putting out less ETH than pretty much any other network out there in terms of inflation. That's including Bitcoin. Okay, in other news, we had David Sachs talked to. He was a crypto czar of the Trump administration. Took a press conference on digital assets. So there wasn't much said in this conference. Like it was kind of a nothing burger, as people are saying. There was talk about stablecoin legislation, market structure legislation, Bitcoin strategic reserve or crypto strategic reserve, and work happening on that. The press conference was very light on details, but yeah, if you want to listen to it, you can follow the link below and give it a listen. I think the whole thing was about half an hour long. Like they started, well, maybe even less than that, maybe like 20-25 minutes. They started quite late, and then you could watch what they said. It wasn't very exciting. Okay, let's go back to the Rocket Pool Discord, and as always, the memes are on fire. So Lee here shared this really amazing meme that got 26 keks, and it's the Harold like face, and it says, when you bought into a project for a quick flip, but ended up becoming a community member. So the idea, of course, is that you buy tokens and the tokens go up, so you want to sell and make money. However, when the tokens go down, you still keep holding them. And that's when you become a community member because you're down bad and you're not going to sell and you're kind of stuck. And Yeah, so Lee has become a community member. We're all community members, this weekend, and now it's just a matter of riding out and hoping that that was the bottom, and hoping that good things come ahead. And because this is the first episode of February, we are going to talk about the February raffle. Cheers shared this information on Discord a few days ago, just to show that the counts for people to verify. Nobody brought up any objections, so it looks like it was all fine. This month there were 26 people who submitted data. Sneaky was number 1, Samus number 2, Shifter number 3, then me number 4. Jasper had a quiet month. Halulu with 9, Jasper with 7. And yeah, that's where we are. So as always, I'll copy the list here all the way down to Suna 4, and I will put it in this document, this thing that Harpocrates made for me. And when I press go, it's going to spit out 10 names. If my name is one of those names, we're going to skip over it. That I will give out 9 prizes from this though, and the 10th prize will go to Cheers for maintaining the tickets, as always. So I haven't actually paid out the previous 2 months worth of rewards, so I will actually be doing that today. So after, like, at some point today, like before the day is over, before February 4th finishes, I will send out the winners for November, for December, and now for January as well. So 3 months worth of rewards. So some of you might be getting up to $300 if you won prizes all 3 months. But let's press go now. Let's talking more raffle. Let's have a look at what's going on. Okay, Regex Buster number 1, Mig the Nice One number 2, Jasper the Friendly Ghost number 3, Sneaky Ninja Guy number 4, Shifter number 5, Neverland Island number 6, Samus number 7, Carl number 8, Iceland Calling number 9, and then me number 10. So I obviously don't get one, but yeah, all the others there get them, which is really, really cool to see. Yeah, that's a pretty decent list. It's hello, didn't get one, sorry, hello, but sorry for that, hello. But yeah, that's it. So I'm going to end today's episode there. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope none of you got blown up over the weekend. I know some people did get blown up over the weekend, like serious people, like people I talked to got liquidated in part, and that's never nice. Like, that's kind of horrible. So sending out well wishes to those people. If you did get liquidated, if you are in a bad financial spot, please reach out to people in the Rocket Pool community. Everyone's quite nice, and we'll try to support you how we can. There's no need to go through any like tough periods on your own. Reach out to friends, family, and if you struggle to reach out to those people in your real life, then reach out to people in the Rocket Pool community. Like, there's some really, really nice people who will be happy to spend time talking to you and like commiserating, and yeah, hopefully you can help each other feel better. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow will be a better day, and hopefully prices will go up. But on that note, I'm going to end the episode. So thanks everyone for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all treat each other well, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.